Welcome back to another episode of In El Barrio with Kirbyonna on 97.9 The Beats. This is where we're showcasing all the Latinas and Latina-owned businesses that are really making an influence in the DFW. And me, I feel like I have a celebrity in the room right now. This is a multi-business owner, entrepreneurial activist, chair member in the city of Arlington, advocate for women everywhere, super mom, and overall Latina badass, Miss Brittney Garcia-Dumas. Hello.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I've never been introduced like that before.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I got all the credits right because there's so much more where that came from.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. I'm so excited.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so grateful to have you here. Like I said before, like I've been kind of like following along on your journey for some time, but for me, people who haven't, I always like to start with like the background and where people come from. So before going too far into your accolades, I know you rep Arlington real hard. Is that where you're from? Where are you from?
Real hard. Yes, I am born and raised in Arlington, Texas, where all of your favorite sports teams play. So let's get that straight right off the bat.
I put this on for you, girl.
World Series champions. Yes, we're very, very excited. Born and raised, and that's why I opened the Arlington Shop back in March. So now everybody can get gear for Arlington that they don't feel like it's from a gas station. So that's really nice. But yeah, born and raised here, was really cool. Had a grandparent in the wealthier side of town, and then was raised by a single mom and not so the wealthier part of town. So I got to see a lot of it, and it was really great.
That's beautiful. And again, because you are Latina, so are your people, where are they from? Are they from here? Are they from art? Like, where you coming back from?
So are you talking about people in Arlington or people?
No, your family. Where's your Latina coming from? Where's your Latina background in?
Yeah, so my family, I have really great perspectives within my family. So my dad is from California. Okay. So he's like, we say he's más Chicano than he is Mexicano. Okay. So he will talk about a zoot suit until the cows come home. Like he is all about that, talking about Huntington Beach and like all these places. So him and his family are from California. They actually left California to like get out of some stuff to make some things right.
Yes. Girl, yes.
Right. The professional business, yes. And then my mother's family. So my mom's side of the family, they're from Mexico City, and so but then they all moved to North Platte, Nebraska, which is like so random. But it's actually where the railroad was really like one of its first stations was in North Platte, Nebraska. And there's a lot of railroad things going on there. So they came to Louisiana, worked on cotton farms in Louisiana, and then went to Nebraska to work on the railroad. And my grandfather was a conductor for the railroad forever. I think he's retired now. So living his best life up there.
That is amazing. Shout out to the FA because that's where all the cool stuff happens. And shout out to, there's definitely a whole nother Latino experience in California, but that's beautiful. So about how long have y'all established yourselves here in Texas?
Sure. So, I mean, my mom's from Arlington, and then my dad's family, so they're Oak Cliff, like Oak Cliff on the arm, for real, Oak Cliff, like, don't mess with me, my dad's from Oak Cliff, kind of thing. So we've been in the area, I mean, for at least a generation.
I love that. Okay. And so me, like I said before, I think I found you probably like a year and a half ago or so. I actually found you on TikTok because you have a pretty big following on TikTok, not to stunt too much, but again, and on Instagram, I realized that you were in Arlington. So I was like, I got to follow up on Instagram because it's like two different worlds. But if I really want to connect with people, I do go to Instagram. But one of the things that really attracted me to you was like, you're really big on advocating just because I don't speak Spanish, that doesn't make me any less Latina. And I love that. I'm like fourth generation Chicana. So I definitely got some no sabo Spanglish tendencies. How do you think that shaped your experience as a Latina?
I mean, absolutely 1,000%. I remember it wasn't until about 5 years ago, I saw an artist and all of her work is Chicana art and talking about the Chicana experience. And she had, I wish I could remember her name right now. I'm pretty sure her first name is Grace. Anyway, but she had this painting and it said escuelante on it. And so it was this word, which obviously is not like a real word in either languages. Right. And so it was a word that her grandmother would use, which was escuela and estudiante. And so even her grandmother was like meshing these words together. And it was so beautiful because to me, it represented this like mezcla of everything together, like this, and truly it represents like the Latino spirit to me of like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna move forward. Like, sure, escolante, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I went to an artist talk actually led by my dad. My dad is a Chicano art curator in Oak Cliff. You guys should check him out. He's incredible.
Yes, Dad.
But I went to an artist talk with him, and I heard her story about being Chicana and how what that meant to her. And for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, she said what I've been feeling this whole time. This ni de aquí, ni de allá. Like, where do I belong? Literally. And just her sharing her story of I feel that too. I was like, oh, let's talk about it. Like, let's open it all up. And that was really, you know, the beginning of me saying, wait, this isn't just a me experience. This is a universal Chicano experience of people who were born in the United States, especially when you look at that first, second, third generation of our parents who experienced coming to the United States in the 40s, 50s, 60s. There's a whole bunch of us, you know, that everybody says no sabo kid. I like to say assimilation kid. Yeah. And there's a bunch of us. It's a huge part of our history, and I will not be ashamed of that at all.
As you should not. And kind of like you said, similarly, I feel like whenever I came across your page, because I actually used to have it in my bios, ni de aquí, ni de allá, just because it's like so much like, hell yeah, like absolutely my existence. But like I said, similarly, like when I realized that you were out here just so confident about it, like a lot of times I'm like, I know I'm like the main Latina for the station. I'm super Dallas. I'm super triple D that. But at the same time, I don't want to be a misrepresentation. And obviously, every single day I want to speak more Spanish because I think that's important to connect with people in general. But I feel like it definitely has been a challenge as a Latina to identify and fully embody the Latina experience without being as fluent as we'd like to be. So do you feel like maybe how do you feel like your influencing has incorporated into your ventures in life?
Yeah, well, see, to me, there is no one way to be a Latina. Just like there's no one way to be a woman, or there's no one way, you know, like it's just there's so many different things that you can like or enjoy or be from here or be from there. I do agree that language is a huge part of culture. My background is actually in linguistics. That's how I started BGD Digital Marketing. But there's so many ways to do it. And my perspective has always been, somebody having a piece of the pie doesn't mean I don't get to have any, right? Like Latinidad is not a pie where I get a little and you get a little and they get a little. That's because I'm in a safe space. I can say that's colonizer thinking, right? Like
it is. Call it what it is.
Right. Like it's not a pie. It's not, we only have a certain amount. And I think that was the vein for a long time, but now it's like, now let's just throw that whole thing out. Like, let's just not even think about that. Like, there's so many opportunities. There's so many things we can do. There's so many people that attract other people or whatever. And like you said, I've been in so many rooms where I am the token Latina. I am the palpable Latina in the room. And my thing is, I mean, I don't know if I can cuss. That's crappy. That's crappy that exists.
Say what you feel.
But also my perspective is me today, them tomorrow. Yes. Like, yes, I'm the palpable Latina on this board for the city. My goal is that in the next 3 years, there's more Latinas with different perspectives, different places they were born, different levels of language, different levels of melanin. Like, there's just so many ways. And it just so happens that we're in these positions that we are in. And I'm not, what am I supposed to do? Just say, no, thank you. I'm not Latina enough for this. Like, no.
Yeah.
Right. So just moving forward in that and just saying, well, okay, sure. I could be other things, but so could we all, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you touched base on a little bit, because that was kind of my next part. I feel like at this point, you might be more notably known for BGD Digital Marketing. That's your online marketing company. And you're really big on specializing in like inclusivity. I know you do like traditional like graphic design and like websites, stuff like that, but more so I think your consulting aspect is probably one of the prized possessions of the company. But for me, I was also like, it was started in 2020 and it's already gotten so much traction. What do you think is the accounting of that? Like, why do you think that is?
Yeah, girl, I started a business with nothing in the middle of a pandemic. Like, what was I thinking? You know, looking back, yeah, you know, honestly, you know that part in Coco where he was like, you know, the grandma, she was screwed over and blah, blah, blah. And then so she cried forever. Like, no, she didn't do that. She made shoes and turned it into a business. That was really my life. And so we were in the middle of a pandemic. I was going through a divorce, all these things. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I have a talent for this. I'm just going to go. I'm going to work it until it happens. There was never any plan B. And so what I attribute the success to, honestly, is being myself within my business. So a lot of times we say that we are your knowledgeable friend in your corner. We amplify voices through business branding. So what we do is we help startups or businesses in that 0 to 5 year mark be better and have better marketing. And we do it through so many different ways. Our consulting is the biggest way that we do it because we get that touch point. But so many businesses, especially historically underutilized businesses, so women, minorities, and veterans, they make up 82% of our clientele.
Wow.
Those types of people are just not listened to, like, ever by marketing, you know, strategists. It's very difficult to get a marketer to listen to you and to say, like, what are your actual real goals? Not what the marketing agency's goals are for you. What are your real goals? And to me, when I looked at women-owned businesses, when I looked at Latino-owned businesses, their goals sometimes were different than what was traditional. Their goals are, I want to spend more time with my family. I want to build a legacy with my family. I want to help the community, like all these different things. And so I tell people all the time, I will build you a marketing strategy in 50 seconds if you tell me where you've been and where you want to go. And honestly, listening to our clients and believing in them, that's what's made us so successful.
To say about that, but I hope y'all get in line because her wait list, I feel like after this interview is going to be hella long. That's beautiful. That's amazing. And personally, I'm grateful because, like you said, I know for a fact there's so many just underrepresented people that it's not that they don't have the capabilities or the talent or the intelligence. It's just that nobody gives them the appropriate tools for what they want to do. So thank you for that. And thank you to BGD Digital Marketing for that. I also want to make sure people know, again, like you said, you do have a new shop. It's called the Arlington Shop. So shut it.
I know, we need to hook you up, girl.
I would love to. Y'all, and it's actually a physical place, right?
Yeah, so you can shop it at the UTA bookstore in the heart of downtown Arlington. There may be a physical store coming very soon. I got a lot of things going on, girl. It's gotta
I ain't mad at it. They just gotta follow along so they know what's going on. But speaking of downtown Arlington, I did also mention that I'm impressed because you are the chair of Latino Business Group for Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce.
It's a mouthful.
Downtown Arlington.
Yes. So I was the chair of the Latino Business Group through the Chamber of Commerce. So unfortunately, Arlington doesn't have a Hispanic chamber. I think one has just started and it's just incredible. We love it. Fort Worth has a great Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for our Latino-owned businesses and Latino advocates. Like, go and learn. Yeah. So I was that for 2 years. Now there's just officially a new president there, started in October. But I do sit on Mayor Ross's Latino Advisory Council. We hold lots of events downtown Arlington. We just had a Hispanic Heritage Festival for Hispanic Heritage Month.
Beautiful.
And so we're trying to do what the community deserves, right? Arlington, I think it's the 5th. Maybe look it up. It's worth a Google.
Okay.
The 5th most diverse city in the United States of America.
Wow.
Of all, right?
Big. So, that's huge.
I know we have a huge population, like Latino population, Vietnamese population, like everything. We got so much here. And so what we're trying to do at this point is not create these initiatives just because it's out of the need for the community. I'm really big on by the community, of the community, for the community. And so the community deserves resources. It's not a hand up. The community can do it themselves. They just deserve the resources that other people groups have received for a very long time. And now we're disseminating them equitably across Arlington.
Oh my God, I appreciate that. I kind of want to know how you got that position, but at the same time, I just want to make sure people know your accolades because they can go up and follow up with you to figure out how they got that. Super speed round. Some of your accolades include BuzzFeed, Yahoo, Arlington's Top 40 over 40. You did a podcast with the shark from Shark Tank, Miss Barbara Cochran. And I think yesterday you had Eva Longoria up in your you're a celebrity, girl.
Yeah, me and Eva, we're gonna be like this.
I am gonna be the first in line to like, support, and share that because I believe you. At this point, how you manifest, girlfriend, I absolutely believe you. But with doing all of that and being a mom, like you mentioned, that's a lot to balance. So how do you keep your go-to phrase, hashtag hustle happy? How do you do that?
Yeah. You can see my hair, hustle happy.
Yes.
Girl. I mean, I don't know. Maybe ask my kids when they're like my age, like, did she do it? Because who's to say? You know, honestly, you have to time block. That's what I do. And I'm listen, I'm an Enneagram 7. I'm a fun wins every time. And so I'm not great at like scheduling. I don't think I'll ever be like a 4 a.m. workout person. Like that's just not me. But I have to say, okay, work ends at this time. And as an entrepreneur, work can be anytime, all the time. For me, I schedule mommy days with my kids. So once a month they get to stay home from school and it's just me and them. So I'm a single mom. So even when I'm with my kids, I'm always with both of them, right? And they have two very different personalities. And so they have one-on-one time, right? You just have to be intentional about that. And honestly, give yourself grace because sometimes you're not going to do it right. And sometimes you're always going to be like, is this right? I don't know. I hope that they can rally, you know. So I bring them in here. I include them in my life, you know. You just do what you can and then you check in with them. Are you good? Are we good? And then I think that's all you can do, right? And just move forward.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I have one more question and I'll let you go on about your super successful life. So again, one thing that from the time I first saw you to even right now being in front of you, you are superb at maintaining your authenticity, even with all the different settings you go in, even with the shame of not speaking Spanish and all kinds of different stuff. What is your advice for people whenever they're navigating their life of how to maintain their authenticity?
Trust that if you don't, you'll be very unhappy. Like there's really only one way to be you, and you know that. And letting all the haters and the doubters, they'll fall away. And you just have to be yourself so that your people can find you. Be yourself so that you can serve your people. You know the way to be you. And honestly, if we want to talk TikTok terms, the day that I started being myself was the day my TikTok started taking off. Like it's scary and it's hard. Speak from a scar and not a wound. Get some therapy, homie. You know, like deal with some of that stuff. But if you are not yourself, you're just not going to live a happy life. And I think everybody knows that, but they're just like, okay with not leading a happy life. It's hard and it's scary. Been there, but it's the only way to do it, to be yourself.
I love it. I'm so grateful. And this like 15, 16 minutes, you've given so many gems. I'm so appreciative. I know people have to follow along. They want to follow along for sure at this point. Can you drop all the different ways they can stay a part of your journey?
Absolutely. So here is my handle.
Yes.
So you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere. Brittney Garcia-Dumas. That's me. I know it's a mouthful, but thank you for putting it in every time. I talk a lot about saying your real name, so that's my real name. But Instagram, TikTok, any social media, we're there. BGD Digital Marketing is on all social media. The Arlington Shop is on all social media. And then just come hang out. Come be a part of the community. What we've built is for you. What we've built is for the people. This seat is for you. And so we would love to have you. Not just we've built this and you're invited, but please come. Please be a part. I want you to be a part. Anywhere we are.
I love it. Thank you so much. Again, this is amazing. I have to remind people how legendary people are literally our neighbors. So Brittney, as my witness right here in front of me, this is beautiful. Make sure y'all follow along on her journey. Thank y'all again for watching another episode of In El Barrio. Be back next week because we got another one coming through. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, you did amazing.
Yay! I was so excited. That was so fun.
Yes, good. I was like, I know you've had a ton of interviews, so I was like,